The Philosophy of Life, a Socrates-inspired narrative speech. Friends and seekers of wisdom, I stand before you today not as one who possesses great knowledge, but as one who has spent his entire life in pursuit of it. The oracle at Delphi once proclaimed that no one was wiser than Socrates, and I confess this troubled me greatly. How could I be the wisest when I knew nothing? So I set out to prove the oracle wrong by finding someone wiser than myself. I questioned the politicians, the poets, the craftsmen, all those renowned for their wisdom. And what did I discover? That while these men believed they possessed great knowledge, they were often mistaken. They knew their crafts, perhaps, but claimed expertise in matters they had never truly examined. It was then I understood the oracle's meaning. I was wisest only because I alone knew that I knew nothing. This is where all wisdom must begin, with the humble recognition of our own ignorance. For how can we seek truth if we already believe we possess it? How can we grow if we think we have already arrived? This is why I have devoted my life to what some call an annoying habit, questioning everything and everyone. I wander the marketplace, the gymnasiums, the public squares, engaging anyone willing to discuss the most important questions. What is justice? What is courage? What is the good life? And inevitably, through patient questioning, we discover together that what seemed obvious at the start was far more complex than we imagined. The confident man who proclaimed he knew what justice was finds himself uncertain. The warrior who thought courage was simply fearlessness in battle begins to wonder if there might be more to it. Some call me a gadfly, a persistent insect that stings the great horse of Athens to keep it from growing sluggish. Perhaps they are right. For a city, like a person, can become complacent, living by unexamined assumptions and inherited beliefs. My questions are meant to wake us from this slumber, to force us to think deeply about how we live and why we live that way. Let me tell you what I believe is the most important truth I have discovered. The unexamined life is not worth living. These are not merely words to me, they are the principle by which I have lived every day. What does it mean to examine one's life? It means to constantly question our beliefs, our values, our actions. It means to ask ourselves, why do I believe this? Is it true? Am I living according to what is genuinely good, or merely according to convention and comfort? When we encounter someone who disagrees with us, do we dismiss them, or do we engage with their ideas, testing our own beliefs against theirs? Most people, I have found, live as though they are sleepwalking. They pursue wealth, honor, and pleasure without ever asking whether these things truly make a life good. They accept the values of their society without question, follow the crowd without thinking. But I ask you, is this truly living, or is it merely existing, like an animal that eats and sleeps but never reflects on its own nature? Consider the person who devotes their life to accumulating wealth. They work tirelessly, sacrifice relationships, and compromise their integrity all for gold. But have they ever examined whether wealth itself brings happiness? I have known wealthy men who were miserable and poor men who were content. So it cannot be wealth itself that makes life good. Similarly, people seek honor and reputation, but what value is honor if it comes from fools? What good is a reputation built on falsehood? No, my friends, The truly good life must be built on something more solid than these shifting shadows. I believe it must be built on virtue, on the excellence of the soul. And virtue, I am convinced, comes from knowledge. For who, truly knowing what is good, would choose what is bad? All wrongdoing, I believe, comes from ignorance. The person who steals believes, wrongly, that theft will make them happy. The person who acts cruelly believes, wrongly, that power over others will satisfy them. They are like someone who mistakes poison for medicine. Their error lies not in their will, but in their understanding. This is why education, true education, not the mere memorization of facts, is so vital. We must learn to think clearly, to question deeply, to distinguish truth from appearance. We must care for our souls as diligently as we care for our bodies, or more so. For what does it profit us to have a healthy, well-fed body if our soul is corrupt and ignorant? Now, some of you may be thinking, but Socrates, you spend all your time questioning and you arrive at no answers. What is the point of this endless inquiry? And I admit, I have reached few certain conclusions. But consider this. Is it better to live with false certainty or with honest uncertainty? Is it better to confidently proclaim what we do not truly know, or to humbly acknowledge our ignorance while continually seeking truth? The pursuit of wisdom is not like building a house, where we can point to a finished structure. It is more like tending a garden, an ongoing process that enriches us even as we engage in it. Each question we examine, each belief we test, each dialogue we engage in makes us more thoughtful, more virtuous, more fully human. Even if we never reach final answers, we become better people through the search itself. Let me share with you what I believe are the core principles by which we should live. First, as I have said, we must examine our lives constantly. We must question our assumptions, test our beliefs, and think deeply about what truly matters. Second, we must prioritize the soul over the body, virtue over wealth, truth over reputation. For these are the things that truly make a life good. Third, we must recognize that virtue comes from knowledge, and therefore we must dedicate ourselves to learning not the superficial learning of facts and figures, but the deep learning that comes from philosophical inquiry. Fourth, we must engage in dialogue with others, for wisdom emerges not from isolated contemplation alone, but from the testing of ideas in conversation. When we argue, and I mean argue in the best sense, not quarreling, but reasoned debate, we sharpen each other's thinking. We expose the weaknesses in our own positions and discover truths we could not have found alone. And finally, we must have the courage to live according to what we discover. It is not enough to know what is right. We must do what is right, even when it is difficult, even when it costs us. I myself have been brought to trial for my philosophical activities. My accusers claim I corrupt the youth and deny the gods. But I cannot abandon my mission simply because it has made me unpopular, for to do so would be to betray everything I believe. The examined life requires courage, the courage to question authority, to challenge convention, to stand alone if necessary for what is true. Some of you may think this sounds difficult, even burdensome, and yes, the philosophical life requires effort. It is easier to accept what we are told, to follow the crowd, to pursue pleasure without reflection. But I ask you, Which would you rather be, a contented pig or a questioning human being? An unthinking sheep following the herd, or a person who seeks to understand the truth about existence, justice, and goodness? For me, there is no question. Even if I could live a life of luxury and ease by abandoning philosophy, I would not do it. For the examined life, difficult as it may be, is the only life truly worth living. It is the life that makes us fully human, that allows our souls to flourish, that brings us closest to wisdom and virtue. My time on this earth may be limited indeed. I am already an old man, but I regret nothing. I have spent my days in pursuit of wisdom, in service of truth, in care for my soul and the souls of others. I have lived according to my principles, examined my life daily, and sought always to become more virtuous through knowledge. What more could anyone ask of a life? So I leave you with this challenge. Examine your own lives. Question what you believe and why you believe it. Pursue virtue over wealth, wisdom over reputation, truth over comfort. Engage in dialogue. Test your ideas. Think deeply about what truly matters. Do not be content to sleepwalk through existence. Wake up, for you have been given the precious gift of a human life, with all its capacity for reason, reflection, and moral choice. Do not waste it. The unexamined life is not worth living. So examine your life. Question, think, learn, grow. This is the path to the good life, not a life free from difficulty, but a life lived with purpose, integrity, and wisdom. This is the philosophy I have lived by, and it is the philosophy I urge upon you. May you all have the courage to seek truth, the humility to admit ignorance, and the dedication to care for your souls above all else. For in this way, and only in this way, can we truly flourish as human beings.